this PDF in the description box, as well as you can get the regular updates in the Telegram channel. You can scan this QR code and join our Telegram channel. Okay. So hope you are all doing good. I guess your studies also going good. Okay. Chalo, let's start the session. Let's go for the session. So here we have the first article for the day, menstrual hygiene. Okay, so the Supreme Court have directed the states and the union territories certain guidelines. Okay, so the Supreme Court got the writ petition. Okay, good evening, Mahesh. Okay, so the Supreme Court have given certain directions based upon the writ petition that have been submitted to Supreme Court. Okay, so we will see what it is talking about. Okay, how it is, why it is important for UPSC. Okay, because every judgment of Supreme Court will not be directly implementing on UPSC, but here it have mentioned that the menstrual hygiene will be having the right of life. Okay, article 21. So we will be seeing in the perspective of two different things. One is political aspects, the polity aspect. Okay, and the second one is the aspect of women in the society and also their opportunities. Okay, and the ethical linkages between. Okay, so in that case we are going to read about this article. Okay, then the second one is green steel can shape India's climate goals. So this editorial is basically written by one of the members in the Tata Steel. Okay, so recently we know the European Union free trade agreement we have signed. Okay, so in that the major issue is about CBAM only. Okay, so most of the trade related things we have sorted, but the environmental related trade and the penalties that still in the dialogues. Okay, so we didn't completely go with the we didn't completely got the free trade agreement in these steel and everything. Okay, we have a cap of 1.6 billion tons. Okay, so after this, so to get a better market, to work as a better competitor in the global stage, we have to move forward for the green and the greener energy and also the greener products. Okay, so that is why it is in the news. The article is basically on the moving towards green steel. Okay, so we will see what is green steel and what the article is talking about. Okay, so again it is for our GS3 paper, environmental based, and also you can expect questions based on this. Okay, in the mains also, and we have to take the consideration of other thing, the financial aspects, the foreign policy aspects, which actually stops us or which actually creates a hindrance for the Indian economy to move further towards its extended markets. Okay, so in that case we are going to look into it. And the third one will be equity rules need modifications but essential. So this is basically about the UGC's recent regulatory equity regulations. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about, it is little controversial, we don't want to get into in detail, but as we got the editorial today, so we are going to just think, we are not going to debate or we are not going to argue anything about the rules or the guidelines, because see, everybody has a different ideology. We don't want to hurt anybody's sensitiveness, or we don't want to hurt anybody's tradition or something. Okay, so instead we are going to just look into it regarding what is the actual rules it have told and what is the opposition is based upon, because not everybody will be blindly opposing reservation or equity, right? So we will be seeing what is the concern based on that the opposition is created, and apart from that what can be done. Okay, what can be included so that these oppositions will be get satisfied. Okay, so we will see in that case. So again, policy, so it will be important for us in GS2 paper, polity and governance. Okay, then Supreme Court have said one more statement based on the stem cell therapy. If you know, stem cell therapy is one of the highly expensive therapy. Okay, so just like how cancer therapy and everything, so stem cell therapy is also more or less way costlier. Okay, so there is a lot of exploitations. The problem is, even if the treatment coverage, the treatment amount is heavy, if you get a proper results, if you get proper treatment, if there is any remedies, then it is okay to spend on these therapies. But when there is no proven clinical results, then it is a kind of a exploitation, right? So Supreme Court have said about this stem cell therapy also. We will see what Supreme Court has stands for. Again, it will be important for our ethics paper GS4 and also GS2. Okay, so how the policy making and what should be the state government and the central government should be doing it. Okay, so healthcare, you know, certain healthcare will be coming under state list, and also it plays a major role, center should be playing a major role in these kind of things for mandating. Okay, so this is what we are going to see for the day. Okay, so when I was starting, nobody was there, and now some people are there. So good evening to everybody. Okay, so before going into the articles, I would like to explain you certain courses. Parthastu mentorship, if you have already prepared, for UPSC, if you know certain basics of UPSC, and if you have did already your self study, then you can opt for Parthastu mentorship. You will be guided by a strategic mentors, and you will be getting a schedule as well. Okay, and for the GS Foundation, those who are appearing in 2027, you can apply the GS Foundation course right now. You will be taught by expert faculties in the field. Okay, the pre-sure test series for finding your accuracy and also to learn more things logically and even applying them. For that, you can go for our crash course and pre-sure test series that will be helpful in your 2026 attempt. And also BA plus UPSC, we are very soon starting in June. Okay, if you would like to integrate your UPSC preparation as well as with your graduation, then you can opt for BA plus UPSC. Okay, let's go into the session. Here, menstrual health in schools is integral to right to life. Okay, so we know right to life have been extended to right to dignity, you know. So right to live with dignity is also the part of Article 21. So here they have even more extended. Okay, so getting dignified and also the access for menstrual hygiene is also comes under Article 21. That is what Supreme Court says. So there was a writ petition that has been submitted to the Supreme Court. Okay, saying that there is lot of infrastructural gaps and there is lot of issues based upon this menstrual facilities. Okay, so because of that, the girls students are facing the denial for their classes. Okay, so some people are being absent to the classes just because they are not getting the access for sanitation things, and other side we could see lot of dropouts because of this reason also. So when there is no proper facilities, when there is no proper infrastructure, girls cannot use the toilets or if any other sanitation construction is not available for female students, be it female students, be it female workers or whomsoever it is. It would be really difficult for them to pursue further. Okay, so health is one of the important thing. If there is no proper sanitation area, or if there is no proper facilities for toilets, so that directly affects on your health, first thing. And second thing, it affects on your productivity as well. So to enhance the productivity and also to enhance the contribution of female students. Okay, so in this condition, the writ petition have been submitted, and it is quoted that the infrastructural access and also the sanitary napkins, sanitary pads access should be easily available to the students. Okay, see, even now if we see in the rural area, it is highly questionable, like do they have a dispenser for sanitary napkins, and do they have proper school toilets to use for this purpose, and also there is no proper disposal mechanism also for this sanitary napkins. So all these things eventually what it is directing to, it is eventually directing to the dropouts and also the absenteeism in the schools. Okay, so we will see one by one. So I have given the data here. Okay, so the dropouts are major, 23% is basically on this infrastructural gaps and the facility access gap. Okay, and the absenteeism, major of the students, like they take leave, they take holidays for their schools during their menstrual period. Okay, so the time like first day, second day, like that, the complete week will be missed out because of these things. So if we provide that infrastructure and also the access facilities, okay, the hygiene facilities, the sanitation facilities, then it will bridge the gap. Okay, so once you will be getting into the school or any institutions, you don't want to worry about quitting your classes just because you don't have the access to these facilities. So once you got the facilities, you will be regular to the things. Okay, so that is what it is told that 29 to 40% of the female students usually take leave on their menstrual cycle because of lack of these access to the facilities. Okay, now first what Supreme Court have told, it is menstrual health and access to sanitary facilities in schools is directed to Article 21. So right to live and right to live with dignity. So all these basically comes under Article 21. So it is important for us to read the Article 21. Okay, then there should be safe toilets. Okay, safe and functional toilets should be there. Okay, it should not be like the construction have been made. Geotagging is very much important here because of this only. Okay, so you know geotagging is after the construction the corporation, okay, or else the rural panchayat board, they have to take the photo of the construction and they have to update to the state government key that we have did this, it is in the functional mode. Okay, so it is a geotagging is basically giving the evidence or proof that we have made it functional. Okay, so there should be safe toilets and also sanitary napkins at free of cost should be given. Okay, so this is what told by Supreme Court, there should be proper sanitation facilities for toilets and also there should be access to the sanitary napkins at free of cost in schools, be it private school, be it government school or be it any other institutions, there should be the napkins should be given at the free of cost. Okay, so if you see the data, the sanitary napkin can be it is affordable. Okay, but the problem here is how they dispose it. Okay, how do they change it? Okay, it may sound differently for you, but the reality is here, the actual hindrance that females are facing is these two. Okay, so these kind of things directly affect their health also. Okay, the improper disposal will be affecting the whole environment as well. Okay, so we have to provide it with two safe mechanisms and also with the safe facilities also. Okay, so the Supreme Court have highlighted that. Okay, female children are facing the humiliation and the stigmatizing for menstrual cycle. Okay, so we could see lot of advertisements. Okay, whenever the advertisement for napkins or any other sanitary pads it pops up in the TV, we could able to see the girl who has that menstrual cycle, she will be feeling inferior, she will be having that little irritated or little uncomfortable feeling will be coming at the first, right? So it is actually stigmatized with the society. So it is, the menstrual cycle is being seen as something very impure, something which is not holy, you know. So this kind of ideologies are in this society. Eventually this advertisements and government and also the awareness by NGOs, all these are trying to pull out from that. Okay, So right now what we have to do is, instead of stigmatizing, if we provide with the facilities, we would be able to achieve the thing of like better understanding. Okay, so the fellow mates can be help those female children to come out of this stigma, and they don't want to be ashamed about being mentioned. Okay, and the humiliation, at some times students doesn't know, like those certain female students, those who didn't attend that age, they don't know what the menstrual cycle is about, and the male students also, some of them are not aware about it. So the mockings, the jokes and the humiliation on these menstrual cycle is actually keeping these female students little inferior and ashamed about it. Okay, so nothing is there to ashame about, it's just a normal natural process, so that have to be conveyed to the students. Okay, so by providing these facilities, students don't have to face any humiliation for this. Okay, then they have quoted that students are missing the schools, okay, during their menstruation, that I have told you, and also the usage of unsafe methods. So for there is a condition, if there is no place to change the napkins, or if there is no infrastructure or any other facilities to get refreshed. Okay, so at that time what we have to do, the females have to wait, either they have to compromise on their education, or else they have to compromise on their health. They have to wait unless and until they reach their home and they get refreshed. So that is the problem here, it has been quoted. Okay ma'am, all this still goes in the village, I am from the village, I see everything and they see that it is not holy and many at this time, but this is the effect of conservative thinking. More than a conservative thinking, see, it is not only in the rural area, it is spread over in the cluster. Okay, even in urban areas we could see certain things. Even now females are asked not to come into the kitchen, they are not able to, they cannot go to any temple, they cannot touch anybody at their menstrual cycle. See, all these are things that is still prevail in the society. The thing is here, it is not about negative thought or conservative thinking, it have been eventually changed. Earlier it was the time period that given to the female for resting. Okay, basically that is what the thing. But later on it is have given that it is unholy. It is because of the misunderstanding that happened. Okay, so eventually if we give awareness, it will take little time, but eventually the next generation, the upcoming generations and the current generations, if they get the awareness, it will eventually changing. Okay, so don't worry about it. There are lot of changes we could see right now. The generation like my mom and my grandma, they used to face, that is not being faced by me and my sibling or somebody. Okay, so don't worry, it will be eventually being normalized. Okay, so it is fine. I am very happy, like people still have their progressive thought. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Okay. So the usage of unsafe methods, it is directing towards either compromise on their health, or else they will be they have to compromise their studies and they have to sit in their home. Okay. Then Supreme Court have also stated that menstrual poverty. So this could be one of our keywords. Okay. So you can expect this menstrual poverty statement based question, what the menstrual poverty is actually stating about. Okay, it will be mostly of the statement based question in the prelims. Okay, so in mains also, if you want to give the health, recently we are getting healthcare articles and the healthcare related news clippings, you know. So just keep that in mind. This could be our one of the keyword also. So what is menstrual poverty? So menstrual poverty is actually when there is no proper facilitation, or when there is no proper access to those facilities during the menstrual hygiene, menstrual period. Okay, so that is what it has been. So it is actually affecting the right to education. Because of this, education is going down for the female students. Okay, and also right to privacy because of lack of the infrastructure. Okay, the toilets and everything, and the bodily autonomy. People are being inferior and they are going with the health issues. So that is what it has been mentioned here. Okay. So the menstrual poverty will be having the concern of right to education, right to privacy and also right to bodily autonomy. ठीक है? Hope here it is clear. ठीक है? Then also Supreme Court have directed that the states and UTs, earlier education was under state list. Okay, so after 47th Constitutional Amendment Act, it have been moved to concurrent list, but the implementation process is still with the states. So the states have been directed, states and the union territories have been directed by the Supreme Court. So there should be functional toilets. Okay, the free sanitary napkins should be provided with proper vending machine. Okay, and proper disposal mechanism also should be there. It's not only about, it should be like we have to give, it's not about only giving the sanitary napkins to students, it's also about bringing the awareness, okay, and also how to dispose it properly. And here the free sanitary napkins, Supreme Court keeping the environment also in the mind, they have told that biodegradable, okay, biodegradable sanitary napkins should be provided. It is not like very, it should not be, there should be no quality compromise should be there, because providing free sanitary napkin, it will be cost efficient, okay, it will be taking a lot of cost, but the thing is, if we provide the biodegradable and the quality things, so in a long term we would be able to perform well in the healthcare sector also. Okay? So that right now if you see the women participation in the education is more, the quality, the ranking system may be, okay, the marks that is been obtained from by female students are little higher, slightly higher than the male students. I am not here telling that to create any hatred or to create any things. It is about like if we give the actual facilities to students irrespective of the gender, considering the gender equality, we would be able to achieve good outcome from our youth, okay, be it irrespective of girl or a boy, we need to give a quality education, quality facilities to acquire those education, so that the youth in common, okay, so they will be giving a proper better outcomes, okay. So as we all know, youth is the major backbone of India, right? Okay. So the significance of this judgment, where it comes, so it expands the scope of Article 21. It does not stop only to right to life with dignity. It even adds the menstrual hygiene as well. Okay. So the health of the female students, dignity of the female students, and the gender equality is also being taken into the consideration. Okay. So here the gender equality is about giving the opportunities and facilitating those students with the better access and the better facilities, so that they can work equally and they can work in a better competition. Okay. Then here the public health, again public health is a section of state list only, है ना? So the public health basically women and also the for complete society, the environmental things is also managed here. So if there is no proper disposal, if there is no safe mechanism for menstrual hygiene, then because it is the menstruation is about purifying your body, right? So the waste and the waste blood will be coming out, right? So that is what the menstruation is about. So if it is not properly being disposed, then that may create a huge environmental health issue, okay. So that is why here we can connect with Swachh Bharat system also, okay. So the toilet facilities and vending machine of these sanitary napkins, these and all can be interlinked with it, okay. You can use this kind of interlinkages in your class mains answer, okay. Then moving social justice issue here again. So the social justice issue is about we are not providing equal opportunity, we are not providing a proper facilities for performing equally. So one section of the society is being given with not given with a particular facility, so that they can also be treated equally or they can also perform equally. So that is the social justice issue we are here talking about. Okay? So the welfare issue is also about, the Supreme Court have told that it is not about only the welfare issue, it is about right based issue. So the right to life is not only with the basic minimum of food and also education, it also extends to how you will be living in this society, what are all the facilities that you will be requiring for your basic necessities. So it is right based issue. Okay, okay. So the legal linkages in this article is about Article 21, okay, right to life and dignity, and Article 14, equality before law. Okay, so we should be giving the equal opportunities also. Article 15.3 basically of 15 subclause 3 is about basically of separate for women. Okay, and Article 21, right to education, dignity also. Okay, here is it clear? Shall we move? Okay, this data is also about 77%. In India, we have attained 77% a safe menstrual hygiene. Okay, but the problem here is the areas where morely of tribal populated, okay, and the rural areas, then still in rural areas and tribal areas, women are not using sanitary napkins, instead they are using cloth only. So the progressive mechanisms, it still didn't reach them. Okay, the using of cloth is not about the affordability. Okay, it's also about how safely we are occurring that menstrual hygiene. Okay, so repeatedly using the same clothes will affect one day, okay, as the bacteria stays there, and the napkins are not being reachable to these kind of areas. So the poor livelihood, the low standard livelihood areas, the tribal areas and also the rural areas still doesn't have the sanitary napkins access and also the toilet access properly for this kind of time. Okay, so that's it for this article. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so knowing about certain things, it's not a huge problem. Okay, okay. So otherwise, let's move to the next. Okay, as we have told, look at the author. So Tata Steel, he is the vice president of Tata Steel. Okay, so he have wrote this article basically on moving towards more greener steel. As we all know, India is one of a huge steel exporter globally. Okay, China is as a competitor for us also. Okay, here what is the issue that right now we are facing? These free trade agreements like what we had with EU, certain countries they majorly focus on the environmental things. Okay, so even though US have this standoff like more concern towards environment, they were the earlier larger polluter. Okay, they were the larger contributor for these greenhouse gases. Now right now we are developing, right? So right now they are very active in controlling like emissions, and they have to put penalties for these things. Okay, so what it is, we are right now in a coal based energy section. Okay, so this coal based energy section, it is emitting, it is giving out so much of greenhouse gases and also carbon dioxide. So the carbon that is being emitted in the society is very huge. Okay, in the steel manufacturing sector and also in the cement manufacturing sector, all these are emitting huge carbon. So it is actually considering for two things. One is we are using lot of coal, so our non-renewable energy is keep on deteriorating, and the second thing is about the environment. So we are staying in the same environment, we are getting more and more air pollution and also cancer related problems as well. So these kind of concerns are still keep on hitting in India. Okay, so this article is basically on in the COP30, India have promised a significant and ambitious target, okay, based upon this cleaner energy. Okay, so by you could see here. Okay, in COP30, delegates in Brazil, Union Environment Minister, have committed the country to submit a revised, more ambitious, nationally determined contribution. Okay. So, by doing this, what we will be able to gather is, one is we can get certain relaxations from the tariffs. Okay. The second thing, we will be able to move to more market where we will be expanding our products. Okay, which is basically easy to access for them. They will be not giving any penalties, or the other countries will not be giving more restrictions for these. If it is greener, if it is like environmental safe, then there won't be much restrictions and it will be easy for us to move into major markets. Okay. So, it is this article is majorly of that. Okay. As we all know, editorials are opinion, we are not going to argue on that opinions, instead we are just going to have a glance what it is about. So, what is the national determined contribution and all, we are going to see. Okay. Hope it is visible for you. Okay. Here, India have promised at COP30. Okay, and it have promised that there will be reduced emissions in the sectors, like in two areas. One is power transport, like that, and also the difficulty industries. Okay, where we will be actually the major contribution in those industries that actually giving us the growth also. Okay, just like that, the steel industry and the cement industry. The steel is very much important for India in two different things. One is export and another thing is infrastructure. As we have seen in the yesterday's session, the capital formation, the capital expenditure that India is doing in this infrastructure is huge, and everywhere the steel is being used there. So, steel is kind of a product that is very critical to India, and we cannot give up very easily on these industries. Okay. Instead, what we have to do, phase based, the sectional based, we have to move towards greener products. Okay. That is what it has been talked about. So, steel is one of a major and a critical product that is actually helping India for growth. Okay. So, that is what I have written here, the growth essential. Okay. And also the intensity of the carbon emission is huge here. As we know, major of the steel plant by in India are running based upon the coal based energy. Okay. So, it is not based upon any other renewable energy, or not based on any greener energy. It is basically of the coal energy that actually emits lot of carbon dioxide. Okay. So, even India is contributing nearly 12% of the emission globally. Okay. We are emitting lot of carbon dioxide globally, nearly 12%. Okay. So, apart from that, the increased steel based on coal, this is the major issue. Okay. So, the high emission, it is affecting our global competitiveness. As I have told you, just because we are not having the technologies, just because we are not having a greener product, we are being denied, we are being eliminated in the competition globally, because the premium markets, they are looking for those products, they are ready to pay for it. But the only thing is, they want the greener products. Greener product is more environmental friendly. Okay, it should be not emitting so much of greenhouse gases, it should not be environmentally affecting. Okay, so that kind of product the premium markets are willing to buy. So, if we are not moving towards these kind of technologies, then we might end up with losing those premium markets because of this kicking out from the global competition. Okay. So, and we can expect trade penalties as well. So, in case if we are not, if we keep on producing steel and if we keep on exporting, at times what the other countries will be doing to discourage the export from India, they will be levying and imposing the penalties for the trade. Okay. So, tariff we can manage, due to certain things we can negotiate, okay, in the trade, but when it comes to penalties we cannot actually negotiate. Okay. Ma'am, can green steel help India avoid future carbon border taxes like EU? Exactly, that is what I am trying to tell you here. So whenever we are able to bring those green steel, we can extend this 1.6 billion tons to even more. We can rectify the cap limit. We don't even have the cap limit for that in the future times. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. Eventually we will discuss that also, don't worry. Okay. Okay, moving further, let's understand the key term. What is green steel? So green steel is nothing but, instead of going the production with the coal base, we will be going with the much efficient and much greener energy, that is green hydrogen. Okay, so the hydrogen that will not be directly and hugely affecting the environment or the climate. So that is the green steel. Okay, the production will be mostly of another energy that will not be emitting carbon here. Okay, so the steel with lower carbon emission, that is green steel. Okay, so what are all the alternatives? As I have told you, green hydrogen will be there. The renewable energy also, like the energy from solar energy, the hydrothermal energy. So from those energy we can produce this steel. So that will be contributing to the greener steel. Okay. So the carbon capture and storage. So the problem we have in India is the mechanisms for, we all know, we cannot even like all of a sudden we cannot move towards greener energy, right? But what can the other alternatives can be done? The capturing measures, the preventive measures that what we can do is like carbon capture and storage. So the emissions that is being keep on the emissions that we are keep on doing. So at least if we can't reduce it, at least we can process it, right? So whatever the carbon has been emitted, the process have to be done so that the carbon emission will be purified or it will be filtered so that it will not be affecting the environment. Okay, so that is what here it is. So this carbon capture and storage mechanism have to be enhanced. It have to be working on a full-fledged matter, and also we should be having regulations also. Okay. So India's one more thing, India have told that green steel taxonomy. So India is the first country to notify it. Okay, this is your homework. You are going to read about what is green steel taxonomy. Okay, done. Then India's climate strategy here. So by giving up the steel, what we are going to do? One is, steel is very much important for us. Okay, here it is growth versus climate. Okay, so when it comes to steel, what we are going to do? The economic importance here. Okay, so the giving upon these industries, okay, steel industries, what way it is happening? The Make in India progress is going down. Okay, one we are losing a product and we are losing the market also. And one more thing, Atmanirbhar is also going down. Okay, so the climate strategy that we have to carry upon, that we have to opt upon, so that will be enhancing us in different ways. So when it comes to economic importance, the greener products that we are keep on giving to the market, so we would be having the Atmanirbhar also. Okay, Make in India products will be getting the market access, and also we will be going with larger infrastructure. As we have told, capital expenditure is high and India is still working in the infrastructure as a growth driver. Okay, so here it is important for our infrastructure, and also the steel demand. Okay, in the global stage, the steel demand is huge. As I have told you, China is also one of our competitors. So keeping that in mind, we have to alternate our climate strategy, and we have to moving towards these markets where our Indian products are being demanded. Okay, so being a huge contributor for these kind of demands, you would be able to expect and you can get more relaxations. Okay, you will be getting more and more opportunities. See, if I am giving more of a steel to UK, okay, I can get more defense mechanisms from there. So it will be a win-win situation for us. Okay? So that is why we have to focus upon what the global demand is and how we are able to provide it. Okay? Now the next thing is climate, which is affecting it. Basically the coal based, okay, the emission is high, the process based is very less. Okay, so we are not processing those carbon emission, there is no storage, there is no filtration, you know, so it is very less in numbers, it is very less in quantity, so that we have to rectify it here. Okay, so the lifespan of steel plants, so generally one steel plant will be at least having 20 to 40 years. Okay, so keep on working all those infrastructure and all those mechanisms and the machineries that will be deteriorating, they will be depreciating. So because of that also extra carbon has been emitted in the environment. Okay, so the lifespan of the steel plant, it is not very easy to dismantle any steel plant or something. Okay, so it is basically of either we have to move to sustainable infrastructure, okay, which we can eventually dismantle, just like the scrap system. So the steel plants are not getting the proper scrap management also. So this, if there is any mechanism for scrap management also, then we can go for the dismantle of plants and building a new plants. Building a new plants is not a huge matter here. It is about yeah, it is also a concerning matter only, because we have to look about the area, okay, and the environmental things we have to take into the consideration, the fund, it is the private partnership, here it is. Okay, so all these things are, or at one time we can settle down all these things, but the dismantled plant and the resources that has been given out after this dismantlement, okay, so how we are going to manage those scraps and those things, okay, the waste and the scrap things, how we are going to manage it, how we are going to use those as a resources instead of just dumping, how we are going to use it as a resources, that plays a major role here. So that is the biggest question mark that we have. If we find a solution for those management and scrap and waste management, and also if we get the technology for the reusement of all these things, then we are in the safer side. Okay, so we would be able to see, we would be able to get more opportunities in the global stage. Okay, then now what are all the issues that actually India is going through right now because of not getting into greener steel? One is global pressure. Okay, so the global pressure is about, again, EU's FTA, the carbon border adjustment mechanism. Okay, so this is a major issue. At a certain point they have given us a relaxation, but we cannot rely for every year it will be same or not. Okay, so unless and until we work on ourselves, the other country will not be ready to give us the opportunity. So we have to move little bit towards the greener solutions, so that we will be getting more opportunities globally. Okay, so the carbon footprint and also the premium markets that is been taken by our competitors. Okay, so those who have a greener products, they are been taken by our premium markets, and we are kicking out of these markets. Okay, so these things we have to take into the consideration. Okay, okay. So there should be carbon pricing also. We will see what is India's stand here. Okay, so we are in the greening steel roadmap. We are working on the green hydrogen and all other alternative sources where we can where we can rely upon rather than the coal based industries. Okay, then the green steel and taxonomy, that also we have seen. Okay, there will be the relaxations in their taxes. Okay, so if it is a green steel plant or something, the government is producing in the government is giving the incentives also. Okay, then the national green hydrogen mission, this also have been taken by the Indian government, so that these carbon emissions will be under control and monitored. Okay, carbon credit trading scheme. So these are the schemes that India actually brought in. So the carbon pricing also will be helping. Carbon pricing is nothing but So how much ever your industry has been emitting the carbon, we are just paying the penalties for that. So eventually these penalties burdens them, then the industries will be going to a more reliable and the better sources. Okay. Now the challenges here is again the technology, we have to work on more. So we can expect EU's free trade agreement, they have promised us there will be fundings and also the technologies for moving towards more greener products. So that kind of funds and technologies will be helping us here. So the challenges can be this challenge can be eliminated through our 27 countries support. Okay. Then the structural, the thing is limited energy access. So there is we do not have much energy, so that we can the alternative energy we do not have much, the solar energy that we rely upon. Okay. So it is not giving that outcome, the energy that is being needed. Okay. The energy intensity that is needed for this kind of steel and cement industry, it is not completely satisfied by those solar energy and things. So that is what the problem here is. Policy gaps, again Indian government is giving carbon pricing and everything, but there should be some strict regulations and this rules also, so that these policies will be mandating the companies and the industries at least between these years, like in next 10-20 years you have to change it, you have to move towards greener. So these kind of implications will be helping India to grow more and move towards more greener products. Okay. So the policy gaps we have to taken care of here. Okay. So the article actually argued about no new coal. Okay. So actually we are coal based, so right now we have to focus on more alternatives than the coal. Okay. Then okay, the clear emission targets. So there should be cap limits, and after the cap limit there should be penalties and also other taxes on those emissions, so that it will be discouraging the institutions and the industries to work more on these carbon emission process. Instead they will be burdened and they will be pushed towards a better technology. Okay. So the carbon pricing that I have told you, and the infrastructure support should be given by the government. So these three are expected from the Indian government. So if there is any infrastructure support, incentive supports, majorly not only the Indian government should stop in setting the regulations and setting the rules, even more they have to give the hands and they have to help them in infrastructure also. Okay. Given India's current dependence on coal based steel making, what are the realistic challenges in scaling green steel, and how can India overcome them? Again, see that the major issue is about the economy thing, we do not have fund for that. Already those 253 plus industries, steel companies that we have, we cannot all of a sudden we cannot change it into a greener steel in a one go. The mechanism is completely different, and here the mechanism is completely different. The process is completely different here. Okay, the energy intensity that we get from coal, burning the coal of 1 kg, that will give a different heat energy, and getting the energy from getting electricity from solar energy, the intensity, the density is different. So here if you put 10%, there you have to put 100%. So these differences are a huge hindrance. Okay, one is economic, that is what we are discussing here. One is economic, another is infrastructure. We don't have the processing system that is actually filtering the carbon. We don't have the infrastructure that is actually very environmental safely, and the carbon that is against the carbon, that kind of infrastructure we have to go with. and also the technologies for purifying the process, for more carbon sink and more carbon storage kind of technologies we are still working on. So, these are the realistic challenges we have. And one more thing, the huge problem is government's role here. Okay, so the government has to take the steps, considering the growth, considering the output, the revenues that is coming from these kind of industries. You cannot you cannot put the burden in at a time to these industries immediately. You have to, from tomorrow, from next year, from next 5 years, from next 10 years, you cannot expect them to completely change their orientation. You cannot expect completely changing their whole process. Okay, the core process, it will take time to change. So, here government should give their support also at times. After support, they have to give their the regulations also. There should be strict mandation also. So, unless and until these are been done, we cannot expect much things. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so only 2 more is there, then we will be meeting later. Okay, okay. This article, again the editorial opinion. Okay, I think Abhi Aishi is here or not, I am not very sure, but her thought, her doubt yesterday about UGC, we will be discussing it today. Okay. So, the UGC's equity rules, which is basically on giving the committees the support for marginalized communities like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and also OBCs, those who are considered historically and socially backward. They have been gone through so many issues. Okay. So, now with right now this article is based upon, on Thursday Supreme Court have given that the statement, it is very sweeping. Okay. So, these rules that has been given by UGC is very sweeping. Here you have to keep that in mind. UGC is been regulated, sorry, UGC has been directed by Supreme Court earlier for certain regulations to bring up in this universities and also the institutions, where we focus, where we got the cases of 2016 Rohit case. Okay. So, based on that cases, Supreme Court have directed UGC. Now, there is a temporary hold on these equity regulations, because it is mostly against the, it is mostly for SC, ST and OBC students. There is no much information, or there is no much rules against the rules against the issues facing by other general category people. Okay, we will see it in the detail. Okay, here first, Supreme Court have held the temporary halt on this argument, because it is somewhere or the other giving misunderstandings, that is keep on promoting and the provoking youth in a different direction. Okay. So, it is mostly directing the youth towards hatred. Okay. So, that is why there is a temporary halt. There will be different discussions also. Okay. So, the rules is basically to prevent the discrimination majorly on the caste based discrimination. So, to eliminate that caste based discrimination, these rules have been brought in. Okay. So, there will be institutional mechanisms also, so that the marginalized section people also will be having equal opportunities. Okay. So, they will be every institution should be given equal opportunities, instead of giving a certain cap limit for as a reservation or as a opportunity. There should be no limitations, there should be equal opportunity being given. Okay, where the facilities and also other opportunities are being given in the support. Okay. Then equal committees should be there. The SC, ST and OBCs should be having equal committees, so that whatever the issues they are bringing it to them, it have to be represented and it have to be resolved within a time bound. Okay. So, that is what here it have been mentioned. There should be time frame, those complaints should be rectified very soon. Okay? And there should be helplines and the squads, so that the happenings in the hostels or in the other institutional infrastructure, there should be no mishappenings in those kind of areas. For that, there should be helplines and the squads. Okay? And also the complaint resolution should be within a time period as soon as possible, and also the accountability should be taken by the university here. See, the opposition is not based upon the facilities that has been given to the SC, ST and OBC community students. It is basically on the elimination for other category, the general category. The opposition is basically on that. It is not about giving the opportunities or the facilities that has been provided to this marginal communities. Okay? So that we have to keep in mind. Now, so why these rules are made? Because the caste based discrimination is still prevalent, and it is actually affecting till taking a life of somebody. Okay? So it is not only stopping a opportunity to a person, it is not stopping just growth of a generation or growth of a family. It also extended to the area where even the life has been lost there. So that is why this caste based discrimination have to be eliminated. For that, these rules have been given. How they will be eliminated? So the opportunity will be given, so that the opportunities, the infrastructure facilities, and also those committees and also the squads and the helplines will be helping them to face all those mishappenings. Okay? So it makes sure it prevents those students facing those mishappenings between other category people. So by offering all these, the caste based discrimination can be eliminated, because keep on giving support. Okay? It is a short term solution. The long term solution is about bringing the awareness, bringing the equality in mindset, and bringing actual change, so that every category people, irrespective of the category, they will be coming up with their growth. Okay? So that is what it is. The suicide case of Rohit Vermala in 2016 that we have talked about. So these are major concern. It shows how marginalized section people, marginalized section students are facing issues, and they have very less acceptance in the society, and the acceptance for their education opportunities are being challenged here. Okay? So because of this, these rules, so that it is mandating that these will be these mishappenings, these injustice will not be happen to marginalized and other section also. Okay? So as I have told you, UGC already have been directed by Supreme Court itself for bringing those kind of what to say, rules in the institutions. Okay? So as we have talked about what the exact opposition is about, the rules discrimination only against the SC, ST and OBC students. So the general category students have not been mentioned in these rules. So they have told that equal opportunity, equal committee also. So at that time we have to given this general category also, right? But the thing is, more of a general category students, the marginalized category students are being bullied, there is a lot of mishappenings for them, there is a lot of hatred for them. Okay? And there is misunderstanding, like see, even in this 21st century, it is still happening. Okay? We cannot deny it. It is actually majorly the issues are faced by these marginalized sections till now. So accepting the reality, it is because of something. Okay? There is another side also, the politics, the vote banks is also playing a major role. Okay, apart from that, there should be understanding, the human understanding should be there. We are humans, irrespective of the category, irrespective of the community, okay, irrespective of the nation. Here I would like to say one, Kaniyan Pungundanar have told that Yadumure Yavarum Kelir. Okay? So Yadumure Yavarum Kelir is basically on everybody is, every place is like my hometown. Okay? And every every human individual is like my kith and kin, so everybody is like my sibling. What we tell in India, all Indians are my brothers and sisters, right? So the same thing applies in the global site. So that is what yadum ure yavarum keladu, everybody is my kith and kin, and every place is like my home. Okay, so that kind of a feeling we have to bring in. There should be no racial, there should be no caste based, there should be no community based or any other discrimination, or the differences should not be there. We have to understand it's humans. Okay, so basically these marginalized communities are facing the issues, and the general category people also facing issues like economically weaker section. There is less opportunity for them, and there is less exposure to the higher education also. Still these general category people also facing those. So considering these two, if it would have been welcomed very much, the UGC equity rules, when there is equal consideration for general category also. Is we should remove caste based from the society. Obviously for a long run, if we actually need a proper growth, then we have to work on those eliminating this discrimination. Okay, they should not ask caste in form filling, also remove any discrimination. Yeah, see, all of a sudden we cannot do it. Eventually we would be able to do it. See, if 10% of these marginalized people have been attained in a group A or group B services in a very high paid income category, the 90% is still in the area where they are not been accepted at all. So for bringing that acceptance, temple entry is still being denied for these people. Okay, the education teacher, the Anganwadi workers, there is a lot of cases in India. Anganwadi workers are not cooking in that school because there is different category people, and people, the parents of those schools, government schools, are denying their students education. They are not sending the students to the school and to the Anganwadi for the meal, the midday meal, because the Anganwadi worker is from this marginalized section. As I have told you in the recent case, the people even in the government institutions, the Panchayati Raj president is not been accepted just because she is or he is from these reserved category. Okay, so these kind of things are there. So considering both the weightages, okay, so the discrimination that has been, the social inacceptance for these categories, and also the suffering people from other categories like general category, they both have to be taken into the consideration, and the necessity things have to be done for that. Unless and until it is a two-state theory that we are using with other countries, here also it have to be within the two shoes of the people. If it is one shoe, definitely it will become a problem again. Okay, okay, coming back. So the general category doesn't have any legal resource, and also no action against false complaints. Here it is a major issue. Okay, at times we have to understand, we have to accept it, there will be false complaints also to eliminate the competition or something. The false complaints will also be there. There is a loophole. There will be false complaints if there is no proper regulation. That is also a problem. Okay, a person who didn't do anything, they will be penalized. Okay, so that is not good. And other thing is, if even if there is any real complaint is there, that can be put in this provision as a false complaints, as they have the loophole also. So here we have to have a balanced solution, that is inquiry committee should be there, there should be proper CCTV footages also, for that evidence have to be proven. Okay, so that kind of balanced solution will help us in this thing. Okay, and so here we have to focus on article 14, okay, article 15, 17, 21 and 46 of DPSP. Okay, 14 equality, 15 opportunities, 17 against untouchability, 21 right to life and education, and also 46 for opportunities. Okay, and the welfare scheme. So the equity rules are essential here. It is essential, but it have to be in the two shoes. It should not be biased. Okay. Then the discrimination is real, as we have taught the recent the recent examples that we have gone through. Okay, and apart from that, the implementation, the accountability should be focused. So the implementation should be on the rigorous implementation should be there, the putting behind the bars or the penalty or the actions that is being taken by the university have to be little rigorous, but it should be evidence based and it should be inquiry based. There should be proper evidence that should be submitted and there should be no false complaints. Okay, and the accountability should be taken by the universities, otherwise we can't do anything. Okay, okay. Moving on to the last. Okay, here will take 5 minutes of time only, okay, not much. So in stem cell therapy, you know stem cells, if when a newborn baby have been born. Okay, I'll come to this chat little later. Let's complete the session, then we will be moving to the doubt session. Okay, so the stem cell is nothing but the umbilical cord, that connects the baby and the mother in the womb. Okay, so through that their food and energy is being transmitted between mom and the baby. Okay, so that stem cell can be used for many therapies. So if I have born with differently abled capacities, like if I don't have a arm, okay, if my stem cell have been preserved in the laboratories, that stem cell can be used and I can get my own arm being produced. Okay, so I can get my own arm by the cell theory. Okay, so by multiplying that stem cell I can get my own arm, okay, by replicating my left arm or something. Okay, so this is what the stem cell therapy is. You can actually create the immunity, the blood cell that have been collected in the stem cell theory. So there you will be able to get lot of immunity based things. Okay, so that stem cell will be having immunity and also the capabilities of building new organ also. Okay, so this stem cell therapy have been extended to autism also. So those children, those who have autism, like which is they cannot perform just normally. Okay, they perform differently or slightly lesser than the normal people. Okay, I'm very much in choosing the words because it should not hurt anybody's anybody should not be get hurted. Okay, so that's why I'm very clear in the words. Okay, okay, so the autism and ADHD here. Okay, the autism spectrum disorder, they are the clinics are going with the therapies and the treatments based upon the stem cells. So there is no clinical proven mechanism and there is no clinically proven argument that the stem cell therapy is curing autism children. So there is no proper evidence based on that, but still the clinics and also other institutions, private institutions, still performing the stem cell therapy by convincing the parents that there is lot of outcome and they are exploiting them. Okay, so now the Supreme Court have told that when there is no scientific evidence, then you cannot claim on this treatment, and the union government should take action against those clinics, those who are performing this kind of unevident clinical therapies. Okay, so the stem cell therapy, it's not just like regular medical treatment. Okay, now it should be it should get a approved clinical trials, because everybody is doing that. Everybody those who have the amount to take, those who have the capital to bring those technologies, they are doing it, but there is no outcome. Actually scientifically it is not proven. So every stem cell therapy should be done based upon the clinical approval only. It cannot be done, cannot be performed just like that. Okay, okay, and there should not be any commercial services also. It should be regulated and it should be based upon the actual necessity if it is there. Okay, then the issue majorly here is the clinical claims are huge. Okay, the fees, the therapy involves a higher and very expensive treatments and expensive therapies. So the parents are literally being exploited through these things. Okay, every parent sentiment is about my child should be good, my child should be healthy, my child should be just like normal children. So every parent wish the same for their children, right? So that is one of their loophole where they are using those parents sense where they are using the people's sentiment, parents sentiment, and they are being exploited. Okay, so the clinical claim should be evidence based. If there is no approval, then they cannot perform it. Okay, then the union government efforts should taken for stopping these unapproved clinical trials. Okay, and as we have discussed, there is no scientific proof. Why Supreme Court is stopping it? Why Supreme Court is asking union government to do it? So because union government has authority in public health also. Okay, and this kind of mandates has to be the drug, and also the drug and trial is comes under union government. In recent articles we have read that the approval and the mandate, all those testing will be in the hands of union government, the implementation, the supply chain will be in the state government, right? So the clinical and the drug approval is been mandated by the union government here. Okay, so it is Supreme Court is asking the union government, please take care of this. Okay, just look into it, what the private clinic are doing. Okay, please do take necessary actions so that these unapproved clinical trials will not be happen and people will not be exploited. So this is what the article is about. Okay, so the huge treatment cost, as I have told you, it is not just like we are going to the hospital for fever or cold something. It involves huge treatment cost. Okay, so people are ready to put the money, but anyhow they want their children to be like happy and healthy. For that they are ready to give money, but the healthcare institutions are like, okay, if you have money, give us, don't have any problem, we will use it, like that. Okay, so there should be a proper there should be the ethical accountability should be there. If I am paying 100 rupees, even for that 100 rupees, at least 90 rupees should be my it should be gone for a proper usage. Okay, so that is what the Supreme Court is trying to tell us here. Okay, so here the consent alone will not be valid. If there is if the parent is ready to go for stem cell therapy, the consent alone is not valid. Here there should be a proper evidence also that by doing stem cell therapy there will be short changes will be there. So that should be given here. Okay, so unless and until it is proved, it is not acceptable here. Okay, then the parents cannot demand the stem cell therapy. So at times the counseling or any other psychiatric dialogues may end up like parents will be giving the parents will be demanding those therapies. So it cannot be done. Okay, based upon the adequate inquiry, based upon the approvals by the government and the public health care, then only it will be provided. Okay, then it violates new drugs and clinical trial rules 2019. So another homework, we are going to read about new drugs and clinical trial rules 2019. One is green taxonomy. Okay, and the second homework is about this rules. Okay, so the major direction is regulatory authority should be there. Okay, the technologies, there should be inspection, there should be some regulatory things also. So the authority should be given to the union government, they will be taking care of the approval and everything. Okay, so there should be ethical biomedical research also. So unless and until it is proven, even the therapy should be basically on the biomedical research with the ethical concepts. Without that we cannot go for it. Okay, so that is what this is arguing about. And now we came to conclusion. Okay, so I guess today's article has been clearly, you got it clearly. Please do the homework and take the keywords also, take your syllabus, take the GS2 paper, GS4 paper and GS3 paper also, because the articles basically come from these things only. Then comes to menstrual hygiene, it is about society also GS1 paper. So take your syllabus, read the keywords, compare it and read it. Okay. So now I'll see the comments that I have right now. No false complaint should be done. Exactly, ma'am, rightly. Thank you. And even it happens on geopolitical matters like Trump Greenland issue. No one is on the same page in the world. I don't know why. See, that is what US is kind of a strong economy. They have larger military power also. So we cannot go and oppose US all directly. Even every country all together in one block and US in the opposite block, we cannot that easily we cannot eliminate US. US is US. Okay. And let me scroll it down. Nothing will happen to this country. Time to that nation great which her brain. No. Don't keep that in mind. Okay. So the thing is, as a citizen, we have to work on how we can bring up the nation. It is not about quitting the nation. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to learn more, go to abroad, learn the technologies, learn so many things. Whatever you could do for your country, whatever the area of interest, learn that. Come here, implement it here. Let's grow together. It's not about leaving the country, it's about enriching the country. Okay, so that we have to keep in mind. Nothing will happen. Okay, thank you. And ma'am, I have one more question. Please don't. Actually, it is challenging only for India. The green hydrogen based steel making is challenging and it takes lot of energy and efforts also. But nothing is impossible. It may take 10 more years, 15 more years, but later on you would be able to get it. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. Thank you for joining the session. We'll see.